Hey guys, Omni here. So we have a Honest trailer that I wanted to check out. This came out, like a day or two ago? I can't remember at this point. Just got caught up in a bunch of stuff. Wanted to react to it, so we're doing it here today. You know, I just put out my Superman, Lois, and Flash reactions. You know, DC, if you're new to the channel, or if you're not, you guys know I grew up with DC, and DC is where my home is at, for better or for worse. You know, just being a DC fan these past few years, for me, I've always used this descriptor. It feels like it's just an abusive relationship you just keep coming back to. And a lot of it has to do with WB and the mismanagement of the property in general. You know, I love all aspects of it. There's only one or two properties that I don't really jive with. One of which, personally, for me, is Titans. That's one of the few that I really just can't really get through. Luckily enough, I do enjoy the DCEU. It has its ups and downs. I won't defend all of it. But this trailer is for the DCEU. And yeah, so I'm really excited to check it out. I'm really curious to see where this goes, especially with we haven't touched on it here on the channel. Of course, the acquisition, or not really acquisition, I don't know what necessarily you would call it. The abandonment of AT&T dumping Warner Media on Discovery with this deal, this merger that they've got cooked up, where Discovery is going to be taking control. AT&T is still going to own a shit ton of stocks in Warner Media, but they are giving control over to Discovery. So we won't really see a whole lot of change until like 2022 when it actually takes into effect. But who knows? They've got much more experience with streaming, with dealing to the masses. So I'm curious to see if maybe this will be a change for the better, but it's hard to tell that right now. But with the next DC properties down the line that I'm looking forward to is the Flash film and how it addresses the continuity of it all up to this point, because I feel like the Flashpoint movie is going to be the reset button in which Warner Brothers had intended to just wipe out the canon, as it were, establish the multiverse, and then just do whatever the hell they wanted from that point. Because we know how hard they've been trying to scrub their hands of everything that's come before. So yeah. So with all that out of the way and that being said, let's go ahead and check out this Honest trailer. And looks like they're sponsored by Pagoda today. All right, let's do this.
Pagoda egg rolls.
Man, they've done so many of these. The 400th Honest trailer.
After Superman Lives died, Batman v Superman.
I still want to see that
locked away.
Documentary.
Superman
I still haven't yet.
Crashed down to Earth.
JJ script. That was bomb.
Warner Brothers just kind of snapped and said,
Oh, you know what? It. You want to launch a universe? How's this? Superman doesn't want to save people. Batman's a murderer. Wonder Woman's an incel. And Harley Quinn thinks Street Louie should break up with Joker, who looks like my coke dealer. You all happy now, you You're all fired. I hate my job. I'm gonna go make SpongeBob spin-offs for Paramount Plus. Oh.
The DC Extended Universe. Welcome to the DCEU continuity. That, compared to Marvel's boring but reliable B student, is a chaotic goth nerd who never lived up to his potential. Cause Warner's does crap like change the title after a movie comes out, cancel films they've already announced, publicly fight their own stars, swap directors mid-production, and release oopsies cuts of their films to win back fans. In the sort of behind-the-scenes drama you get when the closest thing you have to a Feige is Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary. Sheesh, no wonder these guys hated Cyborg. Typical DCEU protagonist, either a naive fish out of water, an angst-fueled warrior made of sadness, or a quippy jokester stuck with Joss Whedon's B material.
My special skills include Viola, web design, fluent in sign language.
They're way too powerful to worry about.
It kind of tickles.
But when they're somehow threatened by an irritating little wimp,
Ooh, I love it.
Ow! Wow! Honka honka!
an army of faceless goons, or an angry lump of CGI,
Hey, show the good one.
They'll harness the power of creatine to squeeze into a series of costumes so fetishized they should have their own OnlyFans.
Silica-based quartz sand fabric, abrasion resistant, heat resistant.
My brother, I applaud your choices today. It shouldn't work, but hot damn it does.
Make it through that part of the movie where they lose their powers.
I got the wind knocked out of me. Need a few seconds, that's all.
Murder someone.
You can't leave him like that!
Hey, that's not murdering. That's just not saving him.
And tease some kind of sequel, character, or spin-off that will never get followed up on.
Shouldn't we have a league of our own?
Oh snap, do you know who that is? That's the next director's problem. In a world dominated by Disney's Mickey
Damn
Mouse
it, man.
Club,
I
watch
want that
DC's effort
movie.
to set themselves apart. Where Marvel wonders, what if the gods were just like us? DC answers, they're real, and they want nothing to do with you.
I used to want to save the world.
I don't want to be king.
Yeah, here's the thing. I can't be here.
Superman was never real. The world.
Instead of adapting the best storylines of their best comics, they'll let the guys behind Blade Trinity and Rise of Skywalker take their best shot. And instead of quipping all the time,
That is America's ass.
everyone talks like a 14-year-old trying to sound badass while they skim a wiki page.
This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
That's such a fucking awkward,
And the quips
like,
that I choose
set
to
of
hear
dialogue,
franchise.
man. Oh my god.
Experience a universe that rests on one amateur bodybuilder's shoulders. Zack Snyder, the inventor of the feature-length movie trailer. Because if trailers have all the coolest shots, then a 4-hour-long trailer would be nothing but awesome. I mean, right, bro? Watch as he reinvents DC's biggest icons by taking all the color out, literally and metaphorically. And whether or not you're on board with his super nihilism, cringe while the studio rips control of his films away, undermines the world he created, and ensures that every fan he made will reflexively hate anything they ever do. You know, I'd expect better from the people in charge of Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. Wait, no I wouldn't. Of course they screwed this up. So before the Flash movie resets the timeline, or gets canceled again, or the star gets canceled again, enjoy superhero movies for the thoughtful enraged troll inside all of us, where the only thing more dysfunctional than what's happening behind the camera is every DC hero's relationship with their parents.
I have to go back.
When I was a kid, my dad traded me for a 6-pack of beer.
Didn't think you were ready for them to see the monster. You are not a monster. It's weird that you thought I meant me.
It's me.
This one hurt, man. That one, and that one still makes me laugh.
I had no father. My mother sculpted me from clay and I was brought to life by Zeus.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Starring MacGuffins,
The Codex is Krypton's future!
Yeah.
Lost Trident of Atlan.
He's after the change engine.
Some of these make sense.
We gotta cut her heart out.
A stone started all of this.
The rock was lost.
It's a rock.
amazing actors given nothing to do.
Do you really think that...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They really just vanished. That's rude.
Dumb voiceover.
Some days my childhood feels so very far away. And others, I can
While you're
almost see it.
hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Put two ships in the open sea without wind or tide. They will
I mean,
come together.
that plays like a graphic novel to me. There's tons of narration.
The truest darkness is not the absence of light. It is the conviction that the light
I'm sorry,
will
that
never
just
return.
sounds like a comic book page to me. Oh yeah. That one was the worst.
The one human being keeping these heroes from becoming complete psychopaths. The director of Wonder Woman, feud with Warner Brothers. The director of Birds of Prey, feud with Warner Brothers. The director of Suicide Squad, feud with Warner Brothers. The director of Aquaman, it's pretty chill with Warner Brothers actually.
Yeah,
And the
he's got it
director
in
of
good
3
with them.
DCEU films, feud with Warner Brothers.
James
Sense of
Wan,
a
man,
pattern here.
with The
You know,
Conjuring and
let
everything
Warner
else,
direct
they
movies. That way
seem
everything can be Space Jam 2.
would be fine.
crisis for infinite dorks.
That's such a good. That's such a good one.
But can't quite get off the ground.
I mean, it's good for laughs.
Perfect metaphor. Hey,
Oh,
Screen Junkies.
I see what they were doing there.
One-man quest to fight crime.
Are we
How
still
many
rolling?
crimes does he commit himself? And does one of them violate the Geneva Convention?
Or is this like an advertisement
Yes. In
for like a new video?
we did
Okay.
the math on Batman's crimes harder than Oracle on tax day. Click the thumbnail on the right to watch it now.
I won't watch it now. I don't know. Would you guys want a video for that? That sounds kind of. Oh my God, that thing's long. We'll see. If enough of you want that, maybe we'll check that out. But man, I really dug this, man. I can be a fan of something. I can love something and completely be okay when people shred it to bits, because let's be honest, like, I don't like things because they're perfect. I just like things because they're enjoyable, and sometimes imperfect things are enjoyable. The DCEU, honestly, at this point for me, and I love the Snyder Cut, I love what's come before, and I love the new things that have come out since then. I'm one of the few people, it feels like, that actually enjoyed Birds of Prey. I enjoyed, or at least had a good time, watching Wonder Woman 1984, and not because it was a good movie, but because it was entertainingly just odd. It was an interesting watch, I'll say that. But I don't hate any of these films. Even Suicide Squad, which to me is the most bleh of the DCEU, I don't hate it. It's probably the one I would go back and rewatch the least out of any of these. But man, at this point, like, it honestly, the drama surrounding all of it with the directors, all of them, except for James Wan, it have some kind of beef with Warner Brothers, the people paying them to make these movies. Interference abounds in everyone's projects. I mean, speaking of which, the version of Suicide Squad we got was edited, by a music video company, they took apart the director's edit for that to make it what we got on screen, to make it more like Guardians of the Galaxy. And it just didn't jive with the material. And of course, it's just par for the course, man, with Warner Brothers right now. So it's hard to tell what's going to happen. A lot of those things happened. A lot of the crazy shit happened like prior to the change of leadership when Walter Hamada took over. It's just Walter Hamada and everybody now is still dealing with the fallout of those executives that made all these shitty cash grab decisions and bailed the company, like they mentioned in the beginning of this video, to go off to Paramount or whatever and just abandon ship on all their decisions. I mean, a lot of the Justice League stuff that happened, a lot of that drama was spurned because the executives in charge at the time needed the movie to be out, one, be under 2 hours, and two, be out on the date. No delays, no nothing, so it had to be rushed because they needed it to be in theaters in time for the fiscal year to come to a close with the movie being out so they can get their bonuses, and after they got their bonuses, both of them pieced out of the company. That's some dirty ass shit, right? They did not want or care about whether or not the movie was good. And I'm sure that, not to defend Whedon, because Whedon obviously at this point is clearly a piece of shit, despite the great things he's made. Man, I love Buffy growing up, but like, you know, you got to separate the art from the artist sometimes. And like, I get it that he was working under this pressure, under these executives that did not give two shits, and honestly it didn't seem like he gave two shits. He was just there to Frankenstein this project together and see what happened, and that's what he did. And he treated everybody like shit. Obviously he wasn't happy being there, but that gives you no right to really force that onto the people you are over working with. And Warner Brothers is trying so hard to get away from all of this, but more and more just keeps coming to light. More and more the directors are speaking out. More and more the cast are speaking out about all of this, and they're just trying to ignore it, sweep it under the rug, and pretend it didn't happen. And then, of course, you've got things like the Ezra Miller incident, which they just have refused to even acknowledge. Like, no one's acknowledged it. Ezra Miller's never said anything about it, even though the people that pressed the charges have taken back the charges. So there isn't actually any charges being pressed, which makes me think maybe they settled this behind the scenes. Maybe they just paid them off to drop everything on Ezra Miller, which just seems like a stretch, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of just, it's a messy house. That's all I got to say. I wish another company had control of DC. Maybe Discovery will come in here and just kind of like work their magic. I think DC Film needs to be separated from, I don't know if it would work or help, but maybe just have DC Films separated from Warner Brothers. Then again, a lot of the higher ups in DC Films too doesn't really seem to have their heads on straight either, especially with their rampant PR campaigns because obviously, like, if you pay attention to the film media, there is always a reactionary hit piece. No matter what it's about, there will be a blurb in the article taking shots at anybody kind of trying to speak out against them. Like, even when it's completely unrelated. Like, it's really weird, childish, and just dumb. And it just makes it so hard. Well, I wouldn't say hard. It makes it really frustrating being a DC fan in this climate right now. But thankfully, I'm not one of those DC fans that hates Marvel and believes in this feud between the two, this made-up feud that the fans created. Like, you know, while this is all going on, I still enjoy the ones. I still enjoy the movies that I enjoy when they come out. I enjoy the DC shows when they come out. Even though they've been very hit or miss here lately, especially on the CW side of things. I think they started off strong for many years, and just after Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's kind of been struggling over there. And I think that with Superman and Lois, I think that's a shifting of, I hope it's a shifting of gears for things to really perk up, because that show is fucking amazing. And I'm ready for, I just really hope all the other shows take the hint and start heading that way. But man, at least in the meantime, like they said and pointed out in this, Marvel is like that B student. You can count on them to show up and get the work done, but they're not going to try to blow you out of the water. They have a formula, they have a tone, they have a feeling, and you know what you're going to get when you go in. Quips, jokes, some serious moments, action, CGI, characters that are relatable. Even if it is a little cookie cutter, you at least know you're going to go in and have a good time. And with this disjointed house, without a person shepherding this property with a passion like Kevin Feige has for Marvel, with no one like that over there, they're just business suits doing business things, trying to paint by the numbers while experimenting here and there, while trying to water down the material to try and please the masses, when in the end they end up pleasing less people than they ever intended to. It's just like I said, it's like an abusive relationship in some ways. But guys, I like this. I love these guys, man. They put out some great content. They make me laugh. And like I said, it's all for fun. These guys love a lot of these movies too, and it doesn't mean jack shit if somebody makes fun of something you care about. Just love it. Don't be shamed for loving something. Man, like I say 1,000 times, I love the Star Wars prequels, and we all know that they're not great films, and I can tear them apart for hours. But doesn't mean that I should be ashamed for liking them or having fun watching them. I was like, man, fuck, I watched The Room, man, and that shit gets my blood pumping too, man. I love it. So fun to watch, man. Just these movies are here for our enjoyment. Some people just take fandom too seriously and identify with the fandom itself to the point where it becomes just a critique or an attack on just a film that's in their fandom comes off like a personal attack against the person. And I'll admit, there's been a couple of things here and there that WB has said that has clearly been framed and worded as like a defamation of the fandom, but that's not the same thing. That is a company that does not give two shits about the people watching their movies. And you can see that in a lot of their public statements here in the last few months. It's pretty frustrating to read some of these things that the company's been saying, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. We'll see what happens with this change in ownership. We'll see what happens. Honestly, with the social rise right now, to see how fans and everything kicks back, how Warner Brothers responds, because since the beginning, Warner Brothers has been only a reactionary company. So we'll see. We'll see. Guys, sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts. What's your favorite DCEU film? What are some of your least favorites? What do you love about the franchise? What are some of your gripes? Sound off on it all. Actually, well, this would probably cause an argument and a fight down in the comments, but let's talk about the things we love about the DCEU. How about that? Let's do that. Let's keep it nice. Let's keep it civil. I don't want any discourse down there, but we'll see what happens. Guys, we'll have this conversation after the video, and for now, we got a Discord open, all my socials, links to all that is in the description of this video. I've got reactions to Superman, Lois, Flash, Black Lightning, Batwoman, the Snyder Cut, all things DC that have come out this year on our Patreon, highlights on the channel, all that jazz. Check it out. But for now, I'll just catch you guys. I'm just like still rocked to the core, just ranting and raving about this shit, man. It always kind of gets my brain scattered. But that's it for now, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.